first point of discussion slash question, which is what made you guys think to choose an apprenticeship in the first place?
I didn't want to go to uni. I wanted to get a job straight away, and kind of learning on the job seemed to be the right fit for me at the time. So that's why I picked the apprenticeship route.
Yeah, kind of similar to that. At university, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I thought at the time university, like $9,000 a year seemed too much for something I didn't know what I was going to use afterwards. So yeah, I thought something where I kind of learned because I still kind of enjoy it to and then still work at the same time. So
yeah, I was done with university. I went through university. I got to the end of it, and I kind of wanted to carry on studying while also getting on the job experience, I guess, instead of spending all that money on a master's. So yeah, here I am.
I had been working in arboriculture for about 7 years prior to applying to do the apprenticeship to become a arboricultural officer in planning. I mean, for me, it was just a good avenue for getting off the tools and behind a desk and getting a clipboard and getting out there, and it was more a career move for myself. It was just a good avenue to get into the local authority and work in my chosen field.
I'm stressed out enough with a credit card. I couldn't deal with student debt. I'd like collapse in on myself. So I thought the best way to get any kind of like degree or something like that without having that anxiety of debt behind me would be an apprenticeship. So that was always the plan, and it just got moved forward a little bit earlier because I saw the opportunity.
Yeah, excellent. No, I'm similar to all of you, and I can resonate a lot with Joey's last point about the debt side of it as well, and just like money sort of hovering in the background. I went to university for 3 months to do journalism. It was one that, in hindsight, maybe should have done a bit more research through the course and exactly what that was asking me to do and stuff, because I think I work a lot better now. I know myself better. I work a lot better practically, just sort of on the job type sort of stuff. And so an apprenticeship suited me down to the ground. Yeah, I made that switch, and yeah, haven't looked back to this date. So that is good news. How have you guys found, or how did you find, the work life slash study balance during your apprenticeships? And I expect, Rosalina, you're still doing your apprenticeship?
So
Okay.
yeah, I've been quite lucky with my line manager. I've been given a whole day for set aside for my studies. Yeah, I find it manageable, and I find it's some of the stuff that I learn in my I'm doing a level 4 sales apprentice qualification, and I find it quite relevant to what I'm doing, and it gave me confidence more than anything to know, kind of give me some background on what to say and what to do in a sales kind of environment, really.
Yeah, I've found like the actual balance itself really useful in terms of like actually they do give you that, isn't it? Is the 20% off the job training. So your managers do tend to try and stick to that best they can. Obviously, mixing in amongst the day-to-day responsibilities, sometimes it can be quite tough to sort of fix a time. But I think for the most part, I think we're all pretty good with our sort of teams and managers and making sure we secured that kind of block of time to do the study.
Yeah, I mean, same as you guys. My manager was really supportive and was willing to give me the time I needed to complete the course. I mean, prior to doing the apprenticeship, I've been doing part-time studies for about 4 years beforehand, with working pretty much full-time and then studying on the side. So I was kind of almost used to doing like better kind of already prepared to have to deal with the working side and then the studying side. And I mean, as long as you sort of set aside enough time, I mean, there's no reason why it should be overly challenging.
Yeah, I
Anyone
found
got-
it quite good as well.
I was very new to the study thing, as in the work study balance. So having like an entire day, like given to me by my manager to like stay at home and focus on solely on that was really useful. Because otherwise, if I had to do it in the office as well, I think I might have like lost track of it or like focused on work more than my studies. But having a whole day at home where I had to sit down and force myself to do the college work was really useful for me.
Yeah, so you can split it up, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's nice to know you're getting paid to do that as well when you're actually studying.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Okay, great. All right. So, next question is how much has your apprenticeship slash your qualification helped you with your day-to-day role? Like, have you been able to apply it a lot to your day-to-day, the study work, into your practical work?
In the beginning, I would say that I did a lot because obviously I was very new to planning. I didn't really know much about it. So it was more the knowledge side of things. I was understanding what I was doing and why I was doing it. But now, day to day, like I don't really think about what I learned on my apprenticeship, but definitely in the start, it did help a lot.
I realised I kind of answered that in my last answer, but yeah, just with sales and learning really how the language and how I communicate with my clients is different to how I communicate with my colleagues, for example. And it's just helped me a lot in the confidence of that, really. It's been good.
Great. Yeah, did you guys, like, when you were doing your study and obviously doing it at the moment, Rosalind, is it like as comprehensive as you thought it would be, or did you expect there to be like even more you should learn, or was it like too much? Or do you think it was like just enough that you needed to know that applied to the work you were doing?
Don't know. I found it was quite broad. Like there was
Mhm.
quite a lot of different aspects of planning that we sort of touched on in the course. I mean, it was what, a level 3 BTEC, so that's the same as an A level. So it wasn't like to degree level, but it was sufficient to sort of give you that insight that you needed to sort of do the day-to-day tasks that the role required. I mean, trees are a bit different to sort of the whole planning aspect, so it was sort of like just trying to merge the two, and it probably sort of just helped me look at it from a different aspect, as opposed to just being like, no, the trees there within the landscape, and just sort of taking a step back and sort of seeing the wider picture.
Yeah, no, I think I found at the start of mine, I was doing the marketing course, digital marketer course. It definitely helped in terms of giving me sort of like the background to all of just sort of like the marketing techniques, strategies, like the key terms and stuff you'd need if you were building like a marketing plan and trying to pitch that to the team or a department in the council. But I think, yeah, they're quite broad, but I'd say in quite a good way in the sense that it gives you like a awareness of the full um, industry, or at least the beginning of what you're working in. Um, so yeah, it's helpful that you can translate a lot of it to your work. But yeah, I would agree with you, Andy, that a lot of it's quite broad, but it gives you a good sort of introduction into the world you're going to start working in.
Yeah, it's definitely a good baseline to sort of build on, so that you've got that at least some knowledge in all them different fields, and then the ones that you sort of want to hone in on and get a bit more expertise in, you can sort of concentrate on a bit more, I sort of found.
Excellent. Okay, well, there we go. We've only got a couple more questions. So how do you think your apprenticeship will help benefit you in your career, your future career?
I think it looks good. I'd like to think it does anyway. That's that's the hope. Yeah, well, it kind of shows you can kind of study and work, and I think that is quite a. Do think employers like that, because it shows you're kind of willing to adapt and you can kind of multitask, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely that. Yeah, not only are you're working, you're doing a lot of practical stuff, you're having to manage your study time. And yeah, I think they can find you're quite a big benefit with that, because you're learning stuff that you can apply straight back to the team. And this can be new information that new ways of working, new ideas they weren't thinking of perhaps previously, and especially in like a council format, I think it's really useful to have that injection of new ideas. Does anyone else have anything that they think the apprenticeship's done that will benefit their future
It
career?
definitely laid like a great foundation to like build off of going forward. Like my note for me, mine was like a lot of the fundamentals of what I do, and so it just allowed a bit more of like an in-depth understanding of it. So building off of that and being able to go on and, like Joe said, showing that I can learn and like work at the same time for the future, for me, it's something that's going to look really good going forward. I hope that's how they see it.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
sure
I
they will.
agree with Joey, because I've lost my thought. Oh yeah, because our course was quite broad. Like, even though everything was relating to planning, I feel like I could move around within planning and like still have a knowledge to start me off with. And like we even did a whole module on building control, which to begin with I had no idea like how it worked. But now that our teams are actually coming together, because now planning and building control are going to be merging, I feel like now I had learned about building control, I could easily like understand things a bit more. So yeah, it does give room for movement, I think, for myself.
Yeah, it's definitely a good introduction into the industry, and yeah, I think it just gives you a good intro into your career and what you want to do, really. I don't know. I hope it helps my career. We'll see.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. Excellent. Thank you, guys. And then, yeah, last question. What would you say to somebody who's going to be leaving college soon and they're considering their options? So I guess they would be weighing up an apprenticeship and university. What would you say to someone who's maybe on the fence or just considering both options?
I think as someone who went to university and then went on to do an apprenticeship, I think the apprenticeship gives you more of a specific. I think of it more as like you're studying like a kind of case study, I guess. You're in a case study, you're studying for this particular thing. And once you find a role that's really interesting, I just think it gives you, yeah, I don't know. I just found it more helpful, I guess, than my degree. It kind of gave you, okay, this is the first step, and you get help with your next steps in your career and everything like that. Yeah.
You felt like it gave you a bit more sort of structure, at least like day to day.
I think so. Yeah, you knew you had to be at work for 8, and you had to, and it's nice to get that. It's not about money, but the salary as well. It's nice to feel that you're getting paid to do something that you really enjoy, I guess. It's nice.
The free degree doesn't hurt either. So I mean that's the big bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's similar to like what Rosalind said, because I mean they're two different fields, really, aren't they? I mean, university is almost sort of like a lifestyle choice as well, because you've got so many different topics you're learning, but then you're away from your family for the first time potentially, and meeting new friends and stuff. So it's obviously a lot broader. Whereas the apprenticeship, it just hones it in. This is what your your job is. This is what you're going to be doing day to day. You're earning some money. You're sort of like your time scales, as Rosalind said, like you're getting into a routine of starting at this time, finishing at this time, and then like forming a different sort of social group, because maybe potentially the people you're working with are older and stuff. So it's just they're very different, even though they're both a form of education, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say the last point Andy said is really important. Like, I really struggled at the beginning to socialize with people that weren't quite my age. So actually being in an environment where I, had a bit of contact with people in my formal younger people as well, but then still socializing with older people, I think really did kind of help me to adapt, rather than just getting a job and then being kind of thrown in the deep end. So
Yeah, I think that's a really good point in terms of like just being in like an office environment as well. I would never overlook that. I think that's really important, and if you can, I think that's one of the big benefits of doing an apprenticeship is being able to mix in with lots of different people and have lots of different conversations. You can just build your confidence because at the end of the day, well, before the pandemic, and I'm sure we're working back towards it, a lot of people are mixing in the office, and it's a really good skill to have, to be able to collaborate with people. Yeah, I think you've all raised some really good points there. So thank you very much. Awesome. Right. Okay. Well, I think that's all the questions I had. Unless there were any other points you guys thought you'd like to raise, just about apprenticeships in general or at HDC.
I was going to say as well, like it's really like I really like having the responsibilities and being part of a team. Like when I was at school, I felt a bit like useless because I didn't feel like I was kind of providing anything for anyone other than myself. But being part of a team and having like a job to do, like that helps out the department. That was like a big thing for me, and I thought it's a really rewarding feeling when you're part of a team and you're doing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's a really good point, actually. I'm glad we didn't miss that one because yeah, it does give you that sort of confidence to your responsibility, but also what you can do
Yeah,
well.
you feel valued as well. Yeah.
Especially in local government. I think we can all say in each of our departments, we feel like we are making a difference in the community. And where I've grown up in Horsham, it's nice to know I'm kind of, I guess, giving back, and just knowing actually I do this, so it makes this particular thing happen. And it's nice to see the feedback from the community and seeing that what we're doing is good. It's nice.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for your time this morning. I really appreciate it, and I think this has been really useful.